We want the signal be clear to everybody. And in regard of the potential enemy, we don't want simply to impress the public opinion. We want to convince especially the military specialists, who I'm sure are carefully screening our exercise. And of course, we want our exercise be credible from military point of view. Geographically, it covers the entire Mediterranean Sea, about 4,000 kilometers from the Straits of Gibraltar to Eastern Mediterranean. As participants, we have the three resident nations in the southern region, Greece, Italy, and Turkey, in addition with the forces from Portugal, UK, and US. We have about 34,000 troops participating, 20,000 of air and naval, and 14,000 of ground and amphibious forces. We have also about 100 ships. And from the air point of view, I want to emphasize that about 2,000 air sorties are planned. Each phase of the exercise is designed in order to train the units at sea and train even the single ship and the single crew. And we devised that for each phase of the exercise, there will be opposition with NATO forces simulating an enemy.
What sort of opposition do you expect along the way?
We are anticipating air attacks, submarine attacks, and engagement with enemy surface forces.
When do you think this is likely to happen?
Probably most likely to happen as the forces near the islands of Corsica and Sardinia, particularly in the Bonifacio Passage, where we expect to find exercise enemy PT boats, and of course either side is a very likely place for attack by enemy submarines because of the restricted passage. And also in this exercise, this area all through here is quite close to constructive enemy air bases.
What sort of training will this give your men?
Well, this will give my people excellent training in detection and location of small combatants as well as submarines in the island environment. Choke points, of course, are quite important in naval operations, so this is excellent type training for us.
73, you're ordered on this.
Ships in company with us. Presently have launched the Alert 5 aircraft to send 2 fighters up to protect the convoy, which is some number of miles north of us at the present time. There were inbound raiders reported heading for the convoy, therefore we launched our 2 F-4s to go and provide airborne protection over the convoy.
Course 280. Course 280.
Okay, Falcon, go ahead. Surface, give me a position on the convoy.
This is Echo 05, Delta 12-1511. Primary target Delta 12-4511.
Okay. How about those raiders, inbound raiders? Roger.
Well, they have a tremendous database. They've been watching the Allied navies for a number of years now, since 1950, more or less, in an increasing intensity. So they can compare what we do now with what we did last year and what we did 10 years ago. What have we learned? How have we improved our procedures? How have we solved essentially the common problems of fighting on the sea? There are problems. It's not easy. What has been our approach? And then, of course, they analyze that data back in Moscow. What are the weaknesses that seem to be evident in the way we're doing business? What do we do well? What do we do not so well. So they're looking for chinks in the armor, ways to combat the considerable power of the Allied navies here in the Mediterranean. The best method, the one that they rely on as we rely on, is observation, the eyeball. What do they see? So they'll make diagrams of the various task force, task group formations, and how do we change them, under what circumstances do we change them? How do we react, in fact, to the opposition, the so-called orange forces that are playing against us? What do we do when we detect them? How soon do we detect them? Apparently, on what means do we detect them? And what is our reaction time and our reaction capability? This summer, when we were in the Eastern Mediterranean, we were surveilled for a while by a Riga, who followed the carrier around. And I'm almost sure it was that commanding officer's first time in the Mediterranean, the first time in close proximity to the American forces, because he acted sort of like a young pup and not an old sea dog. While he never got in the way, and he never hazarded his own ship or our own force, he was very circumspect in that respect. He did charge around and come up on our port side at 1,500 yards during flight ops. You could see that the crew was out posing on the rail while their friends took pictures of them with the American carrier in the background. And you could almost see his eyes just get round as saucers when we actually conducted flight ops. He couldn't believe that this was possible.
Okay, Gordon. Okay, the orders for the 541.
Recovery complete.
I think that we're more than a match for anything that can be thrown against us at the present time. This is not to say the opposition is not here in strength, is not skillful, is not proficient. They certainly are. But the combined naval capabilities of the Allies in the southern region of Europe today, I think, can carry out responsibilities very well indeed. The size and the link and the expanse of the southern flank, in addition to its geographic configuration with peninsulas, with the sea, with mountain ranges, do make it a very complex area. It's a very large area compared to the overall situation throughout Europe. This does complicate the situation. It does take the very closest coordination and cooperation of all assets, naval, air, and sea, of all nations in the southern flank working very closely together. And that is our aim and objective, to do that very thoroughly in order to carry out our responsibilities across the board, and we feel quite confident that we can do so. This is not to say that we don't need improvements and modernizations. We certainly do. but we're prepared to do the best we can with our assets at hand at present.
Does the
come in before all this happens, and we survey the beach and mark obstacles, blow any reefs that could inherit landing vehicles.
how did you manage to do it? You actually swim in?
Oh yeah. Came in yesterday, early about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Did you find any obstacles in the water, or was it clear?
That's pretty clear. A few reefs, or sandbars rather, not reefs.
So it should be pretty safe for them to come in?
Oh yeah.
What message for the world do you think there is from display determination?
I think there's a very important message to the world and to the alliance and to any potential opposition. And that is simply this, that the southern region, the Allied forces in the southern region of Europe are working very closely together in complete coordination and cooperation. It is a very important area on the southern flank here, strategically. It's vital to the overall NATO alliance. It's vital to the continent of Europe. And if we can't handle the situation land, sea, and air here in this area, we are in very serious trouble indeed. With the combined assets of all the allies working closely together in this region, we aim to carry out those responsibilities in our best possible way, and we believe that we can do it. And I would say one other thing, that if we lose a single ally in this part of the alliance, it's a very serious detriment to the overall alliance for its effectiveness and viability.
Unless you're young.